Hello, and welcome back to Method Muse, where we talk about science-based manifestation methods and concepts. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this topic. Let's get started. Today, we're talking about managing social expectations and identity shifts. So, social institutions are a vast network of human consciousness. We're like individual nodes operating together in the greater system. We have the human system, we have the world system, everything is intertwined. So it's like all of our automated program is kind of moves together. Like individually, we have an individual experience, but we also have the group experience. And that group experience defines the rules, the limits, and the parameters for most of us. So maintaining your position of your state when you're trying to manifest as a node in a larger network, what you need to do is make sure that you're self-regulating so that your automation doesn't shift back to what it used to be. Now, the system, both yours and the external system, is most likely going to want you to stay the same, unless it's a lateral move. If it's something very different, you were making 40,000 a year, and now you want to make 1 million a year. This is a very different identity, both for you and within the system. So if you've been maintaining this position of 40K a year, and your system's been comfortable with it for a long time, even though you consciously want it, your system is going to resist that change. And this is where self-sabotage comes in. It's unconscious preset that I am safest when I make this amount. And they actually show this in a lot of studies. They had this one where this guy was in sales and he never made above like a certain amount. And it was so eerily exact. And this is very varied, it was a great variation of people and time and products and amounts of money, but it would always be like right in this really small range that he just didn't feel comfortable going over it, even though the other people did. Well, they probably had a program of expansion. Okay, we need to expand our sales up and up and up and up, right? But most people actually feel most comfortable in a particular range. So what you've got to do is escape the echo chamber of your current program and really be vigilant in finding and noticing the key information about how you feel about this particular thing that you're trying to manifest. How well do you know your habits around this thing? You want to be like a detective about it. How does it feel in your body? How long has it felt that way? And what elements seem to make it easiest to open up to the idea without resistance of having a different story. So if you're a 40K person, you want to be a 1 mil person, right? You have the habits of a 40K person. Maybe you clip coupons. Maybe you do a lot of budgeting or different things. I mean, it's always good to budget. I'm not a financial expert, but there are different things that a 40K person does versus a 1 mil a year person, right? They're very different habits. And recognizing what your current habits are and where you can start adjusting to your soon to be 1 mil, a year life, and where you can start making the changes, or even like making your system feel more safe. Like I could secure my money this way because your system's already calculating the potential loss of 1 mil versus 40K. This is unconsciously happening in your system. Your brain's calculating, okay, I predict that if we get the 1 mil, we could lose the 1 mil, and then it would be terrible. But if we only have the 40K and we lose the 40K, it's not that bad, right? This is brain math here. This is unconscious brain math. But yeah, to get it to feel like 1 mil is okay, you can be like, well, I'll have all these structures in place. I'll have identity theft protection. I'll have, and no, this isn't a plug for anything. I don't sell anything right now. But, I'll have all of these things, these security systems in place, and maybe start, imagining or even start practicing, even in your current situation, these security measures so that your unconscious can tell, okay, it's okay to have more. It's okay to have more and more and more. It's okay to implement this new program and overwrite the old program or add to it. Maybe you are a 40K person and a 1 mil person. Maybe you get 1 mil and 40K. You don't have to break down the other identity necessarily. You need to add to it. Brain doesn't like negative space. So you want to add in as much as what your current energy levels and your current identity can handle comfortably so that your nervous system doesn't get too triggered. So if you're thinking, you know, oh, it'd be nice to have 1 mil, and then you feel like that unconscious thought really fast, oh, but I could lose it. Oh, but this could happen. Oh, but that bad thing could happen, right? That's your oh, but. Oh, but this. Oh, but that, right? There's always something. There's always some terrible prediction because the brain tends to think negatively more than it thinks positively. But that's a survival feature. We understand that that's there and we work with it. So when you feel that that happens, don't fight that it's happening. Don't create resistance. Just be like, don't worry, we're going to help you feel safe. I'm going to feel safe having the 1 mil a year. I'm going to feel safe being a 1 mil identity. Okay? So I hope this has helped you to understand a little bit more about some of the social structures in place when you're trying to get through that identity block. It's not necessarily a block, it's more like a need for feeling safety. And a lot of the time too, what will happen is externally, people will reinforce your old identity too, because they want to maintain theirs. They want to maintain their own identity. They want to keep their position comfortable. They don't want to change, even if they say they want to change. Unconsciously, we don't want change. We want consistency. We want safety. We want survival. That is what our system is based on. So to get our brain to get on board with a new story, that story needs to feel safe, sustainable, and with the ability to be consistent and ideally to be better, to be a better thing for our system, because we are always striving for better. And this is where you can get your brain to want the novelty, to want that good thing, that shiny new thing that your brain's like, should I touch it? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, okay. You know, to get it there, get yourself around people who already think that way, who already think in the lifestyle or in an experience that you want to have or are already living it. What are the hobbies around it? How can you spend time with people who have those hobbies? And you don't have to get rid of the people that you already have in your life, but be patient and understanding when they don't support you. It is not about you. It is about them wanting to feel safe, about them wanting to feel structured, about them wanting to fall back on what their memory and their presets and their mental stories tell them is the most secure thing for their survival system. But that's not up to you. That's a boundary. It is not up to you to regulate them. You can try to help them, try to be supportive, be kind. You don't have to be mean to them. You don't have to yell most of the time unless they're being really aggressive. You know, Anger and yelling is fear with a purpose. It is fear that asserts your boundaries when all else has failed. So don't be frightened of your anger, but it doesn't need to be used with force all the time. Be contextual with how you use it. Be selective about how much you're using, because anger is a lot of energy too. That's a lot of drained energy from your manifestation. And when you're dealing with the greater systems of people, be very mindful of the identities that you take on, and especially the identities you stereotype or look down on. This will always happen. This is going to happen in every human biological system there is, because we are comparative systems that are trying to predict what is good for us, what we should do next, what other people might do next, what might happen next. We're trying to predict the next move so we can survive. So you have to understand and be accepting of yourself. But if you say, no, I never judge people, I never stereotype anyone or any group or any social, then you are going to miss that shadow and your brain will filter it out before you can even notice it. But it's still going to affect you underneath. It's still going to be affecting your story. Like things like, oh, I don't like this group, so I can't take on this trait about them, even though that would support my manifestation. You see how that goes? But if you notice it, you can relax in and accept, yes, I do have some bias here. I recognize it. And then you can pause and pivot. Be like, no, I can be more open, more curious, more understanding about this group or about this particular trait. Especially like things like, if like we were talking about money, rich people get a bad rap. There are a lot of very good rich people, or we wouldn't have all of the good things that we have right now. Yes, there's a lot of bad, but You got to have the bad with the good. There's no context without it. But that doesn't mean that every person who has a lot of money is a bad person. If you want a lot of money and you unconsciously think people with a lot of money are bad people, your mind and body are not going to let you pursue that. They're going to do everything they can to either make you not notice opportunities or to foul up opportunities, to make mistakes that will make sure that you don't ever become rich, because you don't want to be that terrible rich person who's ruining the world. Oh, wait, maybe money is really just a tool. Yeah, just when you notice those things, and they are automatic, they are so automatic. They are an emergent property of your system, but they're also part of the greater system that you interact with all the time, that you were born into. We're not separate from their natures. We are just programming ourselves within this construct. We are programming ourselves to have a better experience of ourselves and of our story. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and sign up for the Method Muse newsletter in the description below.